Good day, dear teacher. I'm going to talk about of my last lesson plan. It's my 5 lesson plan. And first, I'm going to explain how I take my class. First, the same as my other lesson plans. Let's go to start with this one an activity about the topic, obviously. Then I'm going to give the introduction, the topic throughout this poster. Then I'm going to do for a student do this exercise in class throughout this worksheet. This material is worksheet, and finally, and we need to do this short evaluation. And in this moment, I'm going to explain step by step my lesson plans designer about of me. And with the first point is informative date. The name of the school it doesn't apply. The topic is active and passive voice, present progressive. The date is July 10th and 2020. The grade is apply for the student the third baccalaureate. Duration of the class is 45 minutes. The proficiency level is lower intermediate B1.2 CEFR. Lesson plan designer is Vanessa Victor Perales, is my person. Okay, the second point is the TEFL objectives and TOEFL objectives, and all the lesson plan is necessary to apply the force ability listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And the listening, the objective of the listening is identified and follows instructions, and speaking accurately name the new vocabulary words about the topic, the passive and acting and passive both the present progressive. And the reading and recognize the vocabulary words, and writing is and write a correct sentence with the passive voice present progressive. The third point is about the methodology and strategies. In this part, I put that the methodology, communicative language teaching, design, and audiolingual method. And only change one methodology because all depend about the topic, and I can see that the in this part student need to use the methodology audiolingual the method to interact on the class. And the communicative language teaching is when the teacher want to teach the topic to their students, and it's necessary to apply these methodologies. And also the strategies in this part is necessary to work growth and individual. And for example, in worksheet communicative activity of the saints, it's necessary for interacting in the class about the topic because this topic is a little extensive, and it's necessary to communicate with others to improve the learning. The number 4 is anticipatory set, that the teacher begins the class by introduction the subject providing the examples, and throughout anecdotes about their way to work. The student can get a little idea what they will teach and continue to teach them the structure. The number 5 in this part explain step by step about of the all the activity that below the class, In the first that I said, first, let's go to start with one activity. The teacher will the teacher will give each student a worksheet. This is worksheet, but in one activity, and they should look for a list of the verb corresponding conjugation in the present progressive in a didactic type of letters of. This activity allows a student a memory of the conjugation of verb. And then the teacher explained the correct structure for writing a sentence with passive voice in present progressive. The teacher gives a student a worksheet that with example student completing the sentence. The teacher went around the checking the student understand and said the student were necessary. Teacher and the student check the answers and as each student hint answers. Teacher monitoring correct pronunciation, and finally conclude the class reviewing the topic briefly. The number set is with the modeling. The teacher begins the class by explaining the structure, the way of writing the sentence with a passive voice in present progressive. They will correct our activity, remember the correct conjugation in the present progressive, and they will also develop individual activities that must write the sentence with a passive voice. The number 7 is the guided practice. In this part, the teacher will deliver a worksheet in which they will observe the image and the students must interpret them and write a sentence that corresponds using the active passive voice and its corresponded for using the present progressive. This is the worksheet for doing class during the class. It's necessary and attractive for a student. Then this through this picture that the girl write the poems and the student can put the ideas for them and do the sentence. And the number 8 is the independent practice. The student will make 5 sentences that describe what they do after they leave of school. This sentence will be written with both active and passive voice, thus exercising the student to write a second language more fluently. Number 9 is a exam, and the students will work in pairs to practice the writing of the sentence. The teacher will give each couple 5 words for which most correctly write the sentence actively and possibly to later participate in class to pronunciation of the sentence. Number 10 is closing review with and follow up. The class will be concluded by reviewing of the topic briefly. Students resolve a short evaluation and at the end of the class. And also this will allow to the teacher to know the level of the understanding of the class provided. This is the short evaluation for each student that is necessary for the teacher too, because the teacher can evaluate the skills or knowing of the each student and also know to the level of the learning about the topic. And now I'm going to say about my negative and positive aspect about my lesson plans. In that I said in others lesson plans is positive because is necessary the lesson plan to do and creative for depend of the topic and creative for the teacher can teach to students and start adequate didactic materials and pictures and activity exercise evaluation for teach and arrive to the student with the topic. And also is necessary to know the level of learning of the each student. And the negative aspect is that the also the time is a short time for teach this topic, and is this topic is very extensive too that the student need to explain more time. The student need that the more practice with more activity, more exercise, with more picture, with more necessary that the teacher need to teach the topic. But is other disadvantage because the student need to environment and enjoy environment that the student felt happy to with songs, and in many cases the institution don't have the the technology for actually technology for a teach of a student. That these are my recommendation for this topic, and all the topic, all the lesson plans that is necessary for create the lesson plans, the technology, and also can be the projector, the radio, the CD, the for example a mini uh, a radio for all the classes necessary to improve the listening for the students. And that is all for me, teacher. Thank you very much.